That summer outfit just got you flagged at security. Airport security in 2026 is faster and smarter than it has ever been, but only if you dress for it. Advanced CT scanning, updated millimeter wave body scanners, and stricter TSA officer discretion have created a checkpoint environment where what you wear matters more than most people realize. The wrong summer outfit doesn't just slow you down. It can cost you a boarding gate, a connecting flight, or a genuinely humiliating secondary screening experience in front of a crowded terminal. Here is exactly what to stop wearing and why each one creates the problem it does. Outfit number 10, heavily embellished flip-flops and beaded sandals. Your summer sandals are triggering more alarms than you think. Flip-flops feel like the obvious airport footwear choice in summer. Easy to remove, minimal material, no laces. For plain rubber or foam flip-flops, that logic holds completely. But the embellished sandal market has exploded in recent years, and the heavily beaded, metal-studded, rhinestone-covered, and hardware-laden summer sandals that dominate beach resort fashion in 2026 are a consistent checkpoint problem that most wearers never anticipate. Metal beading, decorative rivets, buckles with substantial hardware, and rhinestone clusters all show up clearly on both X-ray conveyor belt screening and on body scanner imaging. When footwear generates an alert, which embellished sandals do regularly, the response isn't simply a glance by an officer. It's a secondary hand screening of the shoes themselves, often while you're standing barefoot on a terminal floor waiting for clearance. What most people don't realize is that TSA's footwear screening protocol has no exception for decorative versus functional metal. The scanner doesn't distinguish between a structural metal component and a decorative rhinestone. If the alert fires, the process starts. And in peak summer travel periods at major hub airports, that secondary footwear screening adds meaningful time to a checkpoint experience that was already under pressure. The solution isn't sacrificing summer style entirely. Plain leather sandals, clean rubber slides, and minimal hardware thong sandals move through checkpoints without issue. Save the beaded, studded resort sandals for the destination. Pack them in your carry-on and change after clearing security. Outfit number 9, long maxi skirts and wide-leg palazzo pants. Billowing summer fabrics are the body scanner's least favorite thing. Maxi skirts and wide-leg palazzo pants are genuinely practical summer travel clothing in most ways: lightweight, breathable, comfortable across long-haul flights, and versatile enough to move from airport to destination without changing. The checkpoint problem isn't about metal, contraband, or anything inherently suspicious. It's about how millimeter wave body scanners interact with large volumes of flowing fabric. Modern body scanners build a generalized outline of the human body and flag anomalies, areas where the imaging doesn't match the expected profile. Large quantities of fabric gathered at the waist, flowing in multiple layers around the legs, or bunching at the hem, create imaging ambiguity that the scanner cannot resolve without a pat-down. The officer isn't suspicious of you personally. The machine has flagged an area it couldn't clearly read, and protocol requires physical resolution. But here's the twist. The pat-down required to clear a maxi skirt or palazzo pant flag is one of the more thorough contact procedures in the standard TSA screening toolkit. It involves the officer running hands along the exterior of the fabric through its full length. In a crowded summer terminal, that experience is not subtle. This catches travelers who've worn the same outfit through airports before without issue. Older scanning technology was less sensitive to fabric volume anomalies. The updated millimeter wave systems installed across major US, UK, Canadian, and Australian airports from 2023 onward are considerably more precise and considerably less forgiving of billowing summer fabrics. Fitted linen trousers, structured midi skirts, and tailored wide leg cuts in non-billowing fabrics move through the same scanners without generating flags. Outfit number 8, oversized sun hats and straw fedoras. That resort hat needs to come off, and nobody told you why. Large sun hats, the wide-brimmed straw fedoras, oversized floppy beach hats, and structured resort-style headpieces that define summer travel fashion. Create a specific and consistent checkpoint friction point that has nothing to do with the hat itself and everything to do with what hats can conceal above the standard body scanner's upper detection range. TSA protocol requires that hats be removed and placed in a bin for X-ray screening separately from the wearer. That rule exists for standard baseball caps and beanies, but compliance enforcement has tightened considerably for oversized summer headwear specifically. The size and structure of a wide-brimmed straw hat means it requires its own bin, creates X-ray imaging complexity due to its irregular density, and frequently needs to be manually inspected by an officer because the X-ray image of densely woven straw can obscure small items nested within the structure. And this is where it gets crazy. Decorative hat bands with metal elements, wired brims that maintain shape, and decorative pins or brooches attached to summer hats all generate additional screening flags when the hat goes through the X-ray. The hat that looked effortlessly stylish in your vacation photos becomes a checkpoint item that requires its own secondary process. The practical reality, if you're traveling with an oversized resort hat, it needs its own dedicated bin, needs to be completely clear of all decorative metal elements, and needs to be placed crown down to allow the X-ray to capture its full profile. Better still, pack it in your carry-on for the security process and place it on your head after clearing the checkpoint. Outfit number 7, compression shorts and tight athletic leggings with built-in pockets. Built-in pockets feel convenient until they flag you at the scanner. The activewear as travel clothing trend has accelerated significantly, and in summer particularly, compression shorts, athletic leggings, and performance tights with built-in waistband or thigh pockets have become extremely common airport attire. They're comfortable for long flights, they don't wrinkle, and the built-in pockets feel like a smart solution for keeping small items accessible without a bag. The checkpoint problem is straightforward but consistently surprising to wearers. Built-in pockets, particularly thigh pockets, calf pockets, and the wide waistband storage pockets common in women's athletic leggings, register as anomalies on body scanner imaging regardless of what's inside them. The pocket itself, even when completely empty, creates a structural deviation from the body's expected outline that the scanner flags for secondary review. What most people don't realize is that removing items from built-in pockets before the scanner doesn't fully solve the problem. The pocket structure remains. The stitching, the additional fabric layer, and in many athletic garments, the small metal zipper pull on a hidden pocket create enough imaging deviation to generate a pat-down flag even when the pocket contains absolutely nothing. This trips up frequent travelers specifically because the same garment may have cleared a checkpoint previously. Scanner calibration varies between installations. An older system might not flag an empty thigh pocket. A newer, more sensitive system will. In 2026, with upgraded millimeter wave installations now operational at the majority of major hub airports, the flag rate on complex activewear has measurably increased. Plain compression shorts and smooth profile leggings without structural pockets move through cleanly. If the pocket can be felt from the outside as a separate layer, assume the scanner will find it. Outfit number 6, layered metal jewelry and statement necklaces. Summer jewelry is the fastest way to earn a secondary screening in 2026. Layered fine chains, statement chokers, chunky metal cuffs, armfuls of stacking bangles, and the multi-strand body jewelry trend that has dominated summer fashion for the past several seasons. All of it generates consistent body scanner alerts, and all of it adds time to your checkpoint experience that summer travelers can rarely afford. The body scanner alert process for jewelry is not the same as the X-ray bin process for keys and change. Jewelry worn on the body goes through the millimeter wave scanner with the wearer. When the scanner flags metal content, which it does reliably for anything beyond the most minimal jewelry, the officer must conduct a targeted pat-down of the flagged area. For a statement necklace, that means a pat-down of the chest and neck area. For stacking bangles covering both forearms, that means both arms. For layered anklet jewelry worn over bare summer legs, that means the lower leg and ankle. But here's the twist. The volume of jewelry flagging at checkpoints in summer creates real queue congestion at peak travel times. Individual secondary screenings for jewelry-related alerts average 3 to 5 additional minutes per traveler. In a terminal processing hundreds of passengers per hour, that accumulation is visible and felt by every traveler behind you in the line. The 2026 specific update: TSA officers at several major hub airports have begun requesting jewelry removal proactively for visibly substantial statement pieces before the scanner rather than processing alerts after the fact. This is not yet standardized policy, it's officer discretion, but the trend is documented and accelerating. Pack statement jewelry in your personal item. Wear it after clearing the checkpoint. Minimal metal jewelry, thin bands, small studs, clears without issue. Outfit number 5. Shapewear, compression garments, and body shapers. Shapewear under your summer outfit is creating checkpoint conversations nobody wants to have. This is the segment that generates the most uncomfortable discussion in airport security communities. And it deserves direct, factual coverage because it affects millions of summer travelers who have no idea their undergarment choice is creating a checkpoint problem. Modern shapewear, body shapers, compression bodysuits, smoothing shorts, waist-cinching garments, and the category of structured undergarments that has expanded dramatically in the activewear market, interacts with millimeter-wave body scanners in a specific and consistently problematic way. The scanner builds its body outline image and compares it against a standardized expected profile. Shapewear that significantly alters the body's visible contour, particularly high-compression garments worn under loose summer dresses or lightweight linen, creates imaging anomalies the scanner cannot self-resolve. This completely changes everything about how you plan your airport outfit. The flag generated by shapewear typically requires a pat-down of the torso area, conducted by a same-gender officer in a private screening area if requested, but still a mandatory resolution process that adds meaningful time to your checkpoint experience. The officer isn't making a judgment about the garment's purpose. The machine flagged an area. Protocol requires physical verification. And this is where it gets genuinely sensitive. Medical compression garments, post-surgical support wear, and other therapeutic body garments fall under the same scanner interaction profile as fashion shapewear. TSA has a specific notification card process for travelers with medical devices and garments, but many travelers aren't aware it exists or haven't prepared the documentation in advance. What most people don't realize is that this issue disproportionately affects summer travelers specifically, because the combination of lightweight outer garments with structured shapewear creates the maximum contrast between the scanner's expected body profile and the actual imaging result. Heavy winter clothing creates its own screening challenges, but the shapewear under summer dress combination is particularly flag-prone in 2026's upgraded scanning environment. The practical guidance: if you wear shapewear regularly and travel frequently, register with TSA's notification program if your garment serves a medical or post-surgical function. If it's purely a fashion garment, consider whether the convenience of wearing it through security outweighs the near certainty of additional screening at a major hub airport. Many travelers who encounter this issue once choose to pack shapewear and put it on after clearing the checkpoint, the same solution that solves multiple items on this list. Outfit number 4, extremely revealing or minimal beachwear as travel clothing. What works at the resort pool does not work at the departure gate. This one requires directness without judgment, because the issue is real. The enforcement is real, and the number of travelers affected each summer is genuinely significant. Wearing beachwear as travel clothing, bikini tops as shirts, swim trunks as the only lower garment, minimal cover-ups that leave significant body areas uncovered, creates two distinct problems at two distinct points in the airport journey. At the security checkpoint, highly minimal clothing creates body scanner imaging complications. The scanner is calibrated against a standardized body profile. Unusual amounts of exposed skin, particularly in combination with small items carried in minimal clothing, generates imaging flags that require secondary screening. The less clothing, the less material buffer between the scanner's imaging and the body, which sounds counterintuitive but creates its own set of imaging anomalies in practice. But here's the twist. The more significant enforcement point is at the gate and on board. Major carriers operating from the US, UK, Canada, and Australia updated their passenger dress code policies in 2024 and 2025, partly in response to viral incidents and partly in response to crew well-being advocacy. Gate agents in 2026 have clearer authority to request that passengers cover up before boarding. And in documented cases, the option provided is purchasing a garment at an airport retail location or not boarding the flight. What most people don't realize is that the gate dress code enforcement is entirely at the carrier's discretion and is not subject to the same standardized process as TSA screening. Two passengers in identical outfits might receive different treatment from different gate agents on different days. That inconsistency makes it more dangerous, not less. You cannot rely on having sailed through previously. A light cover-up, a linen shirt, or a casual sundress solves the checkpoint and the gate problem simultaneously without sacrificing summer comfort. Outfit number 3, underwire bras and structured swimwear with metal components. Underwire is the single most common source of female traveler pat-downs at summer checkpoints. This has been a checkpoint reality for years, but the upgrade to more sensitive millimeter-wave body scanners at major airports from 2023 onward has made it dramatically more consistent. Underwire bras and structured swimwear with built-in underwire or metal support components, which is common in resort and athletic swim styles, trigger body scanner alerts at a rate that experienced female travelers have documented extensively across aviation forums and travel communities worldwide. The physics are simple. Underwire is a curved metal component positioned across the chest. The body scanner identifies metal. The officer receives a chest area flag and must conduct a targeted pat-down to clear it. The process is standardized, handled by a same-gender officer, and can be conducted privately on request. But it adds time, requires stepping out of the main screening flow, and for travelers connecting between flights represents a real missed flight risk during peak periods. And this is where it gets frustrating. There is no TSA rule prohibiting underwire bras. You are not doing anything wrong. The garment is simply incompatible with the scanner's imaging sensitivity at current calibration levels. You wear it, the scanner flags it, the process begins. The garment is legal and the screening is mandatory, and the two facts coexist without resolution. The practical solution that experienced female travelers have converged on: wireless bralettes, soft cup bras, and non-wired athletic sports bras for the travel day. Underwire goes in the carry-on and gets put on after clearing the checkpoint if desired. For structured swimwear with built-in underwire, the same logic applies. Pack it, wear something wire-free through screening. Outfit number 2, platform shoes, wedge sandals, and thick-soled summer footwear. Thick soles are hiding things, and TSA knows it. Platform shoes and wedge sandals occupy a specific and well-documented position in TSA's footwear screening protocols, not because platform wearers are suspected of wrongdoing, but because thick soles and wedge constructions have an established history as concealment locations that TSA's training materials specifically address. The protocol response to thick-soled footwear has become more consistent and more thorough in 2026, and summer travelers in platforms and wedges are experiencing it at higher rates than they were 2 or 3 years ago. When thick-soled footwear goes through X-ray screening, officers are trained to scrutinize the sole structure specifically, looking at density variation, unexpected internal profiles, and material inconsistencies within the sole construction. A standard thin-soled sandal clears X-ray in seconds. A platform espadrille with a 4-inch jute and foam sole generates a more detailed review every single time. What most people don't realize is that certain materials used in premium platform and wedge construction, cork, layered wood, dense foam compounds, and mixed material sole constructions, create X-ray imaging profiles that are genuinely ambiguous and require secondary officer review to clear. This is not a metal detection issue. This is an imaging density issue. The materials look complex on X-ray, and the protocol requires confirmation. The practical impact in summer, platform sandals and wedge heels are perennially popular for warm weather travel because they combine comfort with height. But at major hub airports with high passenger volumes, the additional screening time per pair multiplies across the queue. Travelers behind you feel it. Your own timeline absorbs it. Flat summer sandals, low-heeled mules, and thin-soled slides clear X-ray cleanly and consistently. Reserve platforms and wedges for the destination. Outfit number 1, the full festival and boho travel look. The layered boho summer look is a checkpoint officer's most time-consuming passenger. This is number 1, not because any single element is uniquely problematic. We've covered individual components throughout this list. But because the full layered boho festival summer travel outfit combines every checkpoint friction point simultaneously into one passenger, one screening slot, and one queue position that affects everyone behind it. Picture the complete look, a long maxi skirt or wide-leg palazzo pants generating body scanner fabric flags, a statement necklace and stacked bangles triggering metal alerts, a wide-brimmed straw hat requiring its own bin and manual inspection, platform sandals or embellished wedges needing extended X-ray review, a crochet or heavily textured outer layer creating its own imaging complexity. Possibly an anklet with metal charms, possibly a waist chain visible through the fabric, possibly a beaded bag on the conveyor alongside everything else. The summer airport outfit that actually works combines everything this list has taught. Minimal metal jewelry or none, wire-free undergarments, fitted, non-billowing bottoms, plain low-profile footwear, no oversized hat through the scanner. Save the resort statement pieces, the platforms, the maxi skirt, the layered necklaces, the straw hat for your destination. Wear them landing, wear them at the beach, wear them everywhere except the 40 minutes between check-in and your gate. Travel is summer's greatest pleasure. Don't let your wardrobe turn the checkpoint into the part of the journey you dread. If this video just saved you from a secondary screening on your next summer trip, or finally explained why you keep getting flagged, hit that like button and subscribe to stay ahead of every travel rule and airport update we cover this year. Next video, 10 airport mistakes that frequent travelers make that casual travelers never do. The number 1 mistake will genuinely surprise you. See you there.